Hello, my name is Isaac, and welcome to this pre-concert talk for the third installment of Celebrating Bach. Today's program features some of Bach's greatest essays in the concerti grossi genre, 2 Brandenburg concertos and a double violin concerto. Join me as we explore these pinnacle works. Before we delve into the music of Bach, let us explore the context of instrumental music and Bach's time at Cöthen. Surviving music of the Renaissance showed a propensity for vocal music. Instrumental music, on the other hand, took a back seat and played second fiddle. It was mostly functional in the Renaissance. People welcomed it at dance and dinners, but rarely played it for its own sake. However, the rise of music literacy, developments in instrument building, developments in instrumental techniques, new styles, new genres, all led to the flowering of purely instrumental music, which comes of age in the Baroque era. Bach's Brandenburg concertos are the summation of this development. Bach was a dutiful, diligent working musician. Much of his output served a utilitarian purpose. In 1717, Bach found employment with Leopold, Prince of Anhalt-Cöthen. The musically inclined prince wasted no time in poaching Bach from Weimar. Bach, in his eagerness to accept this offer, offended his former employer, the Duke Wilhelm Ernst of Saxe-Weimar. In failing to follow proper exit protocols, Bach was imprisoned for almost a month before being released into the service of Leopold. At Cöthen, Bach enjoyed much latitude in the dispensation of his duties. The Reformed Calvinist Church of Leopold had little use of liturgical music. Therefore, Bach was able to divert much of his energies towards composing secular instrumental music. This period saw the addition of many works that remain canon for many modern players, such as sonatas and partitas for solo violin and suites for unaccompanied cello. During his time at Weimar, Bach had access to much Italian music as amassed by the Duke. Their effortless melodic style, coupled with the simple but effective concerto grosso form, made quite an impression on Bach. As an organist, I get to enjoy Bach's transcriptions of Vivaldi violin concertos for the organ. His reimagining of string effects and capturing the essence of a work rather than slavishly adhering to the notes of the page show the wondrous workings of his mind, a masterful example in the art of transcription. Concerto grosso as a form of composition aims to maximize contrast and variety. You will hear a group of soloists, the concertino, being pitted against the orchestra, the ripiano. These two groups trade musical material, and interest is derived from repartee between the dueling groups. The work is cast in 3 movements, fast, slow, fast, for maximum contrast of character and tempo, and the middle movement is tonally opposite of its bookends, for maximum contrast of key. But that's textbook definition, and with Bach, nothing is ever pedestrian. Having assimilated the Italianate style, he puts his own spin on this tried and tested form. He experiments with ingenious instrument couplings, blurs the line between soloist and accompaniment, and subverts expectations of the form. In Brandenburg II, we hear a potpourri of solo instruments. Bach combines the agile violin with the delicate flute, the charming oboe, and the commanding trumpet for a sonic spectacle. Listen out for the blistering virtuosity of the trumpet in the first and third movements. Incidentally, the first movement was chosen as the first musical piece to be played on the Voyager Golden Record, a phonograph recording that had been sent into space, an audio greeting card to whoever stumbles upon it. The second movement provides a moment of respite, an oasis of calm between the boisterous outer movements. The trumpet player sits out of the middle movement along with the ripiano. This conscious reduction of musical forces helps with the balance as Bach weaves together an elegant chamber music texture. Musical material is very economical. The pervasive Kreutzer motif lends much pathos to this movement. The continual plodding of the cello, commonly known as a walking bass, is another typical feature of this time. In Brandenburg IV, we are presented with 3 soloists, 1 violin and 2 flutes. However, the concertino seems to be in disagreement as to who is the soloist. Less than a minute in, the violin attempts to assert his dominance and breaks away from the pact. The flutes recognize this and tries to placate by playing a lovely duet. The violin sees this as a challenge and dives into a furious flurry of demi-semiquaver notes. And if that wasn't enough, the violin then answers with double and triple stops, defiantly stating that I, a single melodic line instrument, is capable of harmonizing, a job that takes two flutes to accomplish. In his later Leipzig years, Bach rearranged Brandenburg IV as the harpsichord concerto in F major. It was also during this time in Leipzig that Bach composed the double violin concertos. In the double violin concerto, the two soloists are partners, engaged in complex contrapuntal conversation with the orchestra. The first movement combines fugal elements with the ritornello form. The second solo violin introduces the fugal subject, which in turn is answered by the first soloist and then picked up by the basso continuo. This thrilling game of imitation builds to a rousing climax. The middle movement is famous for its winning melody. The two violins take center stage here, interlocked in long chains of suspensions and sequences. They gracefully circle above the orchestra. The last movement is a relentless allegro that leaves the listener breathless, a real gripping finale to this evergreen work. Thank you for listening, and do enjoy the concert.